Hi, it's Federica here, Head of Growth at SERPWizz. In this video, I'm going to explain what the SERPWizz bug sheet is, how it works, how it's structured, and why we need it. Well, first of all, why we need it. We are using this as in the customer support person would report the customer's request in here, as well as other suggestions that may come up from the team that are about possible ways to improve the tool, the reports, and so on. And by adding all of these suggestions in here, then the developers will understand what we suggest, and they will understand what they can implement, what just doesn't make sense or cannot be added to the tool, to the reports for specific reasons, and so on. They will also help us fix bugs, understand issues, clarify doubts, and more. So in the first tab, you will see the explanation of about how the document is structured. So as you can see, there are different tabs. The first one is the instructions, and then we will have, first of all, the customer tickets, because these are very important. They have the priority because, of course, we don't want customers to be waiting too long for our replies. I've already explained this in the a little bit in the other video about customer service, but I'm going to briefly summarize it here. You will have all of the important information that is going to be stored in here, and it's easy for the support person to just follow up with the customer, because we will have their reference, contact information, name, and also the date of the request. This document is quite new, so that's why it's not updated from the beginning, but here, this is how it would work. Then, as soon as the development team would action this item, for example, they would put it in green and they would leave it here. Then it would be up to the customer service person to just communicate the replies to the replies should be here from the development team. They will communicate the replies to the customer, and then once that's done, they can move this row to the right end of the document where we have the table called done, so that we can see that some items were actioned, and then it's easy to just see what has to be actioned. The tab called changes works in the same way. We just have different ways of organizing them, and these are suggestions from the team or questions or mistakes that are highlighted, or anything that maybe should be fixed. The way we want to communicate with the developers in this sheet and everywhere is as simple and straightforward as possible. We want to share either screenshots, like in this case, or Loom videos explain a bit more what the problem is, but the screenshot should look like this. We would prefer to use monosnap so that we can share the URL. When we take the screenshot, we will also use arrows, text to just explain a bit more where the problem is. We should make sure that the developers can understand where the screenshot was taken from. In this case, they cannot. They understand that this is where we want to log in. Then we want to suggest text changes if there are mistakes or if this doesn't sound as good. Other possible things, in case we want to ask if this is possible, we will just ask the questions and just point out if there are mistakes, if we want to remove items, and so on. Usually, this is where we put the screenshot or URL of the video, and then the technical team would just reply here. If there's a little bit of back and forth, it would happen in here, or we can also tag them in the comments. You can see that here is everything that is related to text, while if you scroll towards the right, you will see the bugs. Maybe like this, it will be easier then to see. Then here we have questions, and here we have universal changes in case we want to make bigger changes to the tool. Here, as you can see, there are some things that were done, so they are highlighted in green. If there's anything that needs to be reported or anything that has to change from our end, we would action it, and only after that we would remove this row from here and we would put it in here. Let's put them always in the same place according to what kind of request it was. If it was a text, a bug, a question, or a change, a bigger change, and then we would just store it here where we can see other examples. Everything that the developers mention and mark it as version 2, or we will do it later on, we will keep it here so that it will be easier to find them again in the future. Hope that was useful. I don't think there's anything else to mention. I'm going to put this video in here so that you can find it again easily. Thanks.